Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Thursday, June 2nd, 2022. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Before we get to the charts, I do want to remind you that I will be hosting a PivotBoss monthly market outlook later on this afternoon at 4 p.m. Central Time. You can grab the Zoom webinar link down below in the description. This is a free and open event to anyone who wants to join. We'll be talking futures, stocks, crypto, and also taking your requests. We'll be looking for candidates and ideas for the rest of the month as we finish out Q2 of 2022. So please join me later on this afternoon at 4 p.m. Central using the Zoom webinar link down below. All right, let's take a look here at the ES in the daily time frame. One thing that we have looked at here in our trading room is the impulse move that began on this strong low or decently strong low and the resulting rally that occurred here over the last week. We have a decent high that came into play here as well, and now we're pulling back. We're looking for a test of the midpoint of that range at 4,004.88. That would give us a new key range to work off of. That key range would give us great extensions to the upside, also gives us a very clear range to work with in the middle of the high and low. But if we were to see some breakout to the upside down the road of this key range, the 100% target takes us right back to recent resistance, right precisely at 4,600. A downside break would take us down to the 3,400 level right here. So again, we have some very clear levels to work with if this midpoint is tested. So looking for that midpoint to be tested over the next 1 to 2 days. Right now, working with lower highs and lower lows, and a test here back at the midpoint. And in between here, this previous month's close could offer an opportunity for bears to defend and push this thing downward toward that level. So again, looking for a potential push into the 4,004.88 level to solidify that key range. If we take a look at the NQ, you'll notice right here the NQ is sitting at an inside day right now, very similar to the ES. It is backed off the highs of the week so far, lower highs, lower lows so far. Again, any pullback here into the previous year's low price could provide an opportunity for bulls to defend. We're looking for some sort of pullback into that zone, perhaps as low as the previous week's midpoint at the 12,140s. So again, if bears continue to defend this previous month's close here, we're looking for perhaps a downside push over the next 1 to 2, maybe 3 days into that downside target zone. Keep in mind right now, the way we see the lower highs and lower lows, that morning strength could offer an opportunity for bears to defend for late day weakness. Taking a look at crude oil. In the previous session, we were looking for crude oil to find some sort of weakness between the 116 and 117 zone. Price got a little bit higher into the 117 and change zone and then dropped. And we were looking for, if that were to play out, we were looking for a push into the 112 level and perhaps maybe as low as the 107.85s. But once we got into the 112 zone, we were looking for bulls to perhaps defend this very bullish PEMA trigger zone, the uptrend, and also the higher value relationship of the pivot range. This remains a very bullish market, and we're likely going to continue to see strength out of this market here. You can see the rounded edge over here off to the right of crude oil. It's now testing prices above 115s and actually traded above it for 2 full days. And this pullback could be a good little shakeout here as it takes out 3-day lows, finds some strength here, and that could be a jumping off point to new highs up ahead. We could be looking at a move up to the 125s over the next week of trading. So again, looking to see how this plays out, but overall a strong low developing off the 112s, off the center of the pivot range for the month, and that could provide a buying opportunity in this PEMA trigger zone for bulls looking to extend the action up toward the 125 level over the course of the month. Taking a look at Bitcoin here. Bitcoin had a tremendous pullback in the previous session. Again, very reminiscent of what happened back here inside the trading range. Very narrow range. Big day up, big day down that followed. Another big day down. It was not able to stitch together 2 full days to the upside. That's fairly concerning here. Again, as price, we weren't ready to really call a breakout from this range. It was a one big day up, but we weren't ready to say this was an upside break just yet. And instead, we continue to remain within this narrow range and continue to teeter on support here. A break of this 28 level will open up a big time push to the downside. As we know, this range continues to develop significant energy that could easily take us another 10,000 points down toward 18K, or perhaps into that final LVN down below of 15K. So again, still a lot of sideways action on support on the previous year's low, but no confirmed breakout just yet. Ether futures, this one had a similar reaction here, a bounce off the 1700 level and a couple of days back. Was not able to really get going here yesterday, instead gave it all back and remains again right on support. It's very close here to taking out that 1700 level. As we mentioned before, from 1800, this thing could still get cut in half back toward 900, or perhaps even take out the previous year's lows of the 700 zone. So again, based on the impulsive move that occurred early in January, we have a 100% target that takes us to 902 half. That could be the next major target down below for Ether futures if it can't get going to the upside soon. All right, that is it for now. We'll see how this plays out heading into the rest of the session. Be sure to join me later on this afternoon at 4 p.m. Central for our monthly market outlook. All right, everyone, see you in the trading room. Take care.